So, uh, pretty good and very relevant.
I think you can use this model in your daily life because every day we will encounter with several conflicts, several verbal, non-verbal communication conflicts or business conflicts, especially in real life. I think many people have um, some types of communication or conflicts in different aspects of their life, in occupational life, educational life. I think also, it is my own perspective, I think also that we can use them for intrapersonal conflicts sometimes with yourself. Not all of them, but some of them. For example, reciprocity, we can use reciprocity in your intrapersonal. If you use it only for you, that what are the punishment, what are the rewards. I love this
Also,
book.
to try
Yeah.
to see some conflicts more objective,
Uh-huh.
like because usually you might get caught in like being very subjective and very like focused on yourself
Yeah.
and not so much to try to understand the other party.
Yeah.
And I think it helps to see like the other party, and often they don't even have bad intentions or so, just maybe a different opinion or perspective. And then it's also easier to find a solution if you're more
Welcome, Phoebe.
understanding.
Phoebe, welcome.
Hello.
In the previous semesters, I taught another book. Let me show you the book. Also, I love this book very much.
Before I forget, I messaged you today, uh, like an email. The learning engagement number 8 hasn't been uploaded yet.
Is there any problem with learning engagement number 8?
It's just the template.
Oh, why? What's up? Let me check it. Why template? Wow. Okay, after class, I will put it, I will put it, because somehow I think it is not the problem of a Moodle, it's a problem of me also. But I'm surprised because I complete everything about 2 weeks ago. Thank you for noticing me about it, and I will complete it after the class. So in previous semesters, welcome, Payo. We have a book so-called, the name of the book was this one. It's a very, very good book. We change it because it is a little, not so. It's a little old book for education and university, but for application, it's very good. Joy Harker and William Wilmot. Not only about the interpersonal, but you can use it also for leadership and other things. It was very good. Also, it is 15 pages. Okay, perfect. So let's go for the last chapter and last model. And after that, for the final exam. Okay. So, what have you learned until now from the 8 models? Uh, Let me ask you a specific question. What model was best fit with your personality or with your character, daily character? Have you find the best model for yourself? Yes, this model is very good for me. I love it. I understand it. It's something I can use it very easily. Is there any model that you love more than the other models or not? Phoebe,
I feel
Lisa?
like it always depends on the situation you're in or which conflict you're facing, because there are always different like points. For example, the trust model is more like oriented towards trust. Then the stairway model was like with the rights and power process and power based. So, but if I had to choose one, I would probably choose the stairway model because it lets you divide the conflict into different steps and gives you a good approach.
Io and Phoebe? What model was most fitted with you, with your personality, with your situations, daily situations? Because it is the last session, and I guess that you have read the book completely and understanding also completely. Because of that, I can ask you before your final exam, what model was most fitted with your personality or were your daily life situations? Do you find anything or not? Remember that business and management, besides the knowledge you should have, besides the skills you should be trained for them, these are a personality-based activity. Because of that, you are graduated from the same university and relatively with the same financial and social, relatively the same financial and social situations and with different outcomes. Why? Also, it is for psychotherapy, for management, for leadership. It is not only about the university that you have done. We can find many people graduated, for example, from Harvard. Best. Why not? But when you consider those great amount of money they have paid, those great amount of hours they have spent for studying and other things, in comparison with a very little university, sometimes you find people in little universities more efficient than, for example, graduated from some higher ranking university, like, for example, Harvard or Stanford. So it is a character base. At first, let me ask this question because this model is there about the behind the model and something combination between different models. And also this is the only model provided by the author. The ninth model is the provided and combined with the author himself. Let me ask my question in this way. What area of life you find normally conflicts? Personal life, occupational life, educational life, business life.
I find it more in my personal life because it's always about like emotionally, I'm very sensitive, I'm weak. Also, while you were asking about the models, I was trying to think which model was like more important for me. That it was the stairway model, as Luisa said, because it talks about the trust, the rights, and the interest, or rather the one of trust, which is the trust model. So I'll go with the trust model because uh, for me, I have seen that sometimes we often tend to trust people so easily, but we get backstabbed, or we really don't know what are the real intentions of a person, and by the time we know, it's a bit late. So personally, I would say that that's my weak point. I would say uh, I sometimes it's hard for me to know the real intentions of a person, or what they're trying to do, either if it's good or bad for me, because there are people who like to take out their work through us without us even realizing that they have been using us. So, and nowadays in this world, we will find that a lot. I would say even this will be personal, but then even in work related, you will never know if someone is how's the work environment and how these people are. Like for us, that we are new people, we are freshers, we're gonna get into this into this world of business and organization, and so I'll say it's really important for us to know and be like ready for it in all ways.
Interesting. And you think that finally it is better not to trust people because
No, definitely we should trust, but it's like think twice, or at least it's not like blindly trust someone, like
yeah.
yeah.
Faith and trust and love are the major areas of your life which many people are blind. What a good faith is a blind faith. Doesn't need any reason. It's a faith. If you have reason, for example, faith in your destination, your destiny, or faith in God, okay, not too bad. But it is blind because there is no evidence. It's by your heart. Something like love. The real love, the passionate love is a blind love. If you want to think about the love object, yes, you will be calmer and more assured, but not passionate, because cognition will destroy many of your stories about your love object. Also about trust. But the first question, for example, I see that Luisa and you have talked about trust. In COVID-19, there was a story. Mistrusted people, paranoid people, had very high level of survival in COVID-19. Paranoid people. Why? Because they didn't trust anything. Wash everything, nowhere going. Paranoid people had a higher level of survival.
That's true. There are people I used to see in the supermarkets, they will have their phone also in a Ziploc bag, and they'll be wearing all these gloves. And after they are leaving the store, they're like sanitizing each and every product they bought.
Yeah. As you know, paranoid is a type of mental illness. But at this time, that mental illness has its survival-based value. Something like aggression. When you are going to fight, aggression has the survival value. More aggressive in fight, more probability to win the game if you are going to fight for physical fighting. So we are not talking about good or bad. We are talking about the fit with your personality. And Phoebe, what about you? Which model was more fitted with your personality? You said, yes, I love this model because I can understanding based on my life story. I cannot hear you, Phoebe. You are not muted, but I can. Yeah. Perfect.
Personally, I like the boundary model, actually. Yeah, because like not in personal life, but in workplaces, it's very important to set a boundary on everything, especially time. Because let's say like new worker, they lack of clarity around what the time boundary is, then the work is not gonna run smoothly.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Beside the stairway and the trust model that my colleague just say, then the boundary model is the second choice.
Is there any new concept in these 8 models for you? Something that, I never had attention to this approach with this approach to this concept, or no, I have never had any, I have never heard anything about this approach or this model or this concept. Was there anything new for you?
I'll say the stairway model. I have never heard about that there is such model even in existence.
Stairway model?
Yeah.
Do you know the basic concept of political conflict resolution based on the stairway model? And unfortunately, about the second and third, not about the first, because first is very, very collaborative. The second and third steps was the basic part of political conflict resolution, about the power and rights And what about you, Luisa? Was there anything new for you in concept or in approach to those concepts? You say, I've never heard about it. Such interesting it is.
I was just thinking when Phoebe talked about the boundary model, that we experience it every day,
Yeah.
but I never like had named it. Like it's so normal that I didn't really like think about it too much, and it was like very interesting because you know you have the minimum boundary, the maximum boundary, or like zero tolerance,
Yeah.
and I never really thought about it, but it's like so like incorporated in our lives. So I think when Phoebe talked about it, yeah, it just reminded me.
Yeah. It is very interesting that boundary model or something like this. We have a modern family therapy for family analysis based on the boundaries. You should know about the boundaries in all aspects of your family life. Boundary with the parents, boundary with the siblings, boundary with the children, specifically boundary between the wives and husbands. It is not the concept of limitation, it is the concept of boundary. When you are passing through the boundary, you are breaking the right of to be an authentic human. If you have no boundary, at the best scenario, you are a mystic. And it is the best scenario. You cannot find it many people in mysticism. Do you know what's the meaning of mysticism?
Miss what?
Do you know what is mysticism?
Narcissism?
Mysticism, mystic and mysticism.
No, I've never heard about it.
Do you know Osho? Bhagwan Rajneesh Osho? Do you know one called Sadhguru? Do you know Sadhguru? Mysticism is having some intuition, very powerful, deep intuition about life. This is mysticism. It's about the knowing
I've
that.
known about like what it is. Like people do have that, but I never heard that there's a specific term about for it.
Yeah. Is India, in Eastern culture, mysticism is very, very popular. In Europe, we have a rigid philosophy based on rationality, not about your intuition. In America, we have science. Science is based on observation. These are three different ways to gain facts of life based on your intuition. The way you are gaining the information about life is based on your intuition. It's called mysticism. The way you want to gain information of your about your life based on your rationality and thinking and wisdom, it is called philosophy. And the way you want to use to gather information about your life based on your observation and measurement, it is called science. So mysticism, philosophy, and science are three basic approaches to gathering information. Mysticism, it's a knowledge about the mystics. If you don't have any boundary, at best scenario, you are a mystic man or mystic woman. But for ordinary people, you are psychologically something like someone has come without any permission into your room, into your house with no permission. It is something like that, but you don't have any boundary. So because of that, it is very interesting that when I first studied boundary theory, not here in the psychotherapy, I was shocked that it is very simple, but I didn't have any specific attention to this concept. Before studying that, yes, other people, other scientists, other management said, yes, it is a model. So I had a common feeling about this theory like Luisa when I at first studied this also in psychology, not in management. And Phoebe, is there anything you want to say to us?
So for me, the strength model is the social style model. Even though
Why?
like being as a working in the customer service industry is a very important model that the person should know, because that the personality to understand like the personality conflict with the social like conflict is very important. but like I have never thought about that. And actually, like almost every day, I have to work with customer, so it's like a perfect model to learn about. But I never think about that model or approaches before.
In customer service, in sales department, and in HR management department, these are the basic departments that we should use conflict resolution very much. In customer service, conflict with the customers. In HR management, from the beginning, the starting point is the hiring process to the last part, which is called, for example, firing process. All are about conflictual situation. And sales is not about the customers as the customer service and not about your colleagues, your coworker. It is about sales and it is something like persuasive technology. It is after ending class, go to the, I don't know, have you checked it or not? Go to the Stanford Department of Business and check the persuasive technology. And I think the book is Tiny Habits. The book has written so-called the title of Tiny Habits based on the persuasive technology. So why I have asked such questions? How do you think? What's my intention to ask about the most fit model with the personality of my MBA student, not bachelor? Why I have asked some questions?
I think because we have done all the models to resolve a conflict, but there's something more than that we should learn. Like it's just not just resolve the conflict, but something beyond that. That's why you ask us about like what we have learned so far.
Any other suggestion?
Or maybe how it's gonna help us in the future, like when we start working, or either as a person, as an individual, for our intrapersonal thing, how it's gonna help us. And of course, it's the last day of class, so it's like so far what we have learned and what is the takeout that we get from the whole course. Definitely for that. So, but honestly, all the class I have given before, in this class, I could have relate myself. Maybe because also of your background that you're a psychologist, so you're gonna give us a different way of things of teaching us, so it's easier for us to remember. Maybe because of that also, and because in the previous class is always about Google your things and like that. Don't put your more of your proper like what you have understood and what you have learned or whatever. So I'll definitely have really good takeouts from the class, not only for my professional thing, but also for personal as well.
Thank you. And what about you, Luisa? Why I have asked such a smart question, I think, not intelligent question, smart question, because we can adopt it with several aspects of your personality.
Because it allows us to reflect on the models, and so it gives a good overview of what we've learned so far, but also like to have our own personal opinion about it, and then you can see if we like understood the aspects of it or not, or if we just recite the book, or if we have like our like
It
if
is
we are
something
able to
like
form our opinion on it.
your answer for me is not answer to me. It is answer to yourself. It is something like puzzle. Two pieces of puzzle mashed together and complete together, each of them. You can find your weaknesses based on the model it is fit for you. It is not important which model. As a self-discovery test, we can do it. Which model I said, wow, I love it. That is your empty part of your personality. That model or something like that, want to complete it. It is not important that model is capable to complete, it shows that it is called in psychotherapy, it is called the technique of mirror back. Mirroring back is mean that what everything around you, you are looking, you are experiencing, it is mirroring back your internal part. If you love the trust model, you should work on your trustification process. If you work in, for example, your social model is good for you, you think and reanalyze your social skills. Boundary, maybe you have some types of problems with the saying no to other people. If you say, that's correct, everybody should have boundary. And when you deep yourself inside your, observe yourself deeply, you say, you think that, yes, perfect. Sometimes I permit other people to break my boundary, and I don't know any skill to say no to them. Because of that, I love boundary model. Also, it is not the time to talk about yourself in the class. It is your privacy. But I asked the question to show you that pay attention in which part of your personality need to paying more attention. Okay, let's go to the final chapter, a very quick review about the final chapter. So the moving behind model has been developed by author Gary Furlan based on the seminal work of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. In her book on death and dying, has been reinforced and influenced by the work of William Bridges Transition, Making Sense of Life's Changes, and its approach to helping people through significant changes. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is the most famous scientist, psychological scientist, who has worked on the confronting with death, scientifically based. We will talk about the stages. She has worked on the stages that when you understand that you are going to death or other significant others are going to die, for example, in cancer, or no, one of your beloved ones or one of your significant others is dead, and you are confronting with the process of adopting with death. The process of adopting with death is called grief process. Grief process is not depression. Grief process is not sadness. Grief process is group process. The process of coping with losing your beloved ones. Sometimes, for example, you want to come to America and go to university, and after COVID, every university said to you, yes, you can be graduated from our university, but it is not necessary to come to our campus, physical campus, only in the Zoom, and you will find your courses more perfect than coming to physical campus. If going to campus and visiting face-to-face with other people, with your classmates, with your faculty and professors is very important one. You are expressing a grief process. Why? Because going to a physical campus can be a love object for you, beloved one for you. So it is not important that we are talking about losing a country, losing a book, losing a mother, losing a job. We are talking about the process of coping with losing a beloved one, losing a love object, losing a someone or something with a high sense of, with a great and high sense of importance. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross worked on it very, very precisely, very, very carefully. And her model and her stages were accepted with different scientists in all humanity-based sciences, especially in sociology and psychology. So the next one is William transition. William Bridges, that I had put the name of the book in the Moodle for you, the cover of the book. It is human nature for each party to conflict. Sorry. It is human nature for every, let me hear it. It's human for each party to a conflict to become hurt and blame the other side. It's your fault. You have done the wrong things. It's not my error. It's not my fault. Erroneously attribute bad intentions to the other parties and build up or exaggerate the wrong done to them. Exaggerate. This can create an enormous barrier to resolution, the ability of a party or parties to let go and move behind their conflict. It is this letting go process. It is this letting go process that the movie Behind Model addresses. It is called letting go process, in opposite of hyper and very exaggerated blaming other people for something which has been done wrong. We ask a great deal of parties when we practice conflict resolution. You can find this model in family resolutions between the parents and, for example, children, between the siblings, between the spouse, wives and husbands, more important than every other cases. Sometimes they don't know how they should do with their life if they don't have any conflict. Conflict is the ordinary lifestyle of many people. It's a very sad and very bad situation, yes, but it is their ordinary style of life. Having conflict, struggle against conflict, and after that, resolving conflict or tolerate conflict and other coping or maladjusted strategies. So letting go process is very important. We are in this chapter, we are talking about the letting go process as the behind the model process. We ask parties to take the pain and anger that they have lived with for a long time and get over it in a very short period of time. Because of that, people come out of the original relationship and goes to another wife, to another husband, to another man, to another woman with very, very lower socioeconomic status, very lower, for example, in comparison to their present and current wife or current and present husband. But they are happy to the new one because there is no conflict or no repeatable conflict. The new one, the new conflict, but resolving or tolerating, and more important than letting go process. Let the conflict go out of the door and seize your life. In some cases, the main reason a conflict doesn't settle or resolve, even when it appears that the resolution meets everyone's substantive interest, is that one or more parties are unable to let the conflict go out, to emotionally allow it to be resolved, to reach closure. Such a sad situation, not bad situation, it is very sad situation. The conflict can be resolved, can be reached out, but you don't let it to go out. Why? Because you love your enemy, because you love your wrong lifestyle. It is called comfort zone. One of the greatest parts of comfort zone is about the things which are not so good for you, which is not so efficient for you, which are not so useful for you, but very comfort for you. Even it is a matter of suffering, even it is a matter of stupid, to be stupid or not to be intelligent. Even it is a matter of everything that you don't like, but you know it. It is controllable. It is not efficient, but it is safe for you. You know it. Something like depression. Many people don't try to leave their depression. Why? Because experienced depression is very familiar with them. It's not so kind. It's not so easy. It is not so pleasant. Depression cannot be pleasant. It is depression. Something like that. You say, I have a pleasant pain. When you have pleasant pain, you have changed the basic definition of pain. Pain is an unpleasant, persistent feeling. Unpleasant. There is no pain that can be pleasant. You can say, yes, I'm learning some pleasant outcomes from my pain experience. Yes, I'm learning some pleasant experiences from my pain. You can say, but you cannot say, I love my pain because it's so pleasant. It is pain. Depression is not pleasant. If it is pleasant, it is not depression. So why people keep their depression? Because it is safe for them, because they know their depression and anything else. Highly recommended, highly recommended to read the book Choice Theory by William Glasser. Choice Theory by William Glasser. Many managers, many leaders, many general population, many members of different approaches, from religion approaches, social approaches, political approaches, have read this book and used these concepts in different views of their life, in different in my organization, in leadership, in sex therapy, in mental disorders, in happiness and other things. It is called choice theory, based on the theory so-called reality therapy. Reality therapy, the major concept of reality therapy is based on choice theory. You choose your bad things in life. It is not about the law of vibration or law of attraction. It's not doesn't not related to those laws. Also, they are total natural laws, but it is not a matter of, for example, attracting same attract the same. It is another thing. You choose to be unlucky. You choose to be unhappy. Why? Are we crazy? Are we maniac to choose, for example, depression? No, because we know how to be depressed. It is easy for us. It is comfort for us. Because of that, in conflict resolution, why the author had put it the last model after 8 models, he's talking about the 9th model, and he said it is combination for myself and gather information from different approaches. And the author was surprised, and also sometimes I am surprised that why people don't know that life is not short, life is too short. Why they don't know that they can resolve their conflicts and not necessarily be happy, at least going for resolving the new conflicts, not the same old wrong conflicts. Why? Because letting go is very hard. They know how to deal with their conflict, not resolve their conflict. Essentially, letting go and moving beyond is a form of grieving. I'm in grief by conflict. The source and meaning of the word grieve is to carry a heavy burden. And the process of moving beyond and reaching an end to the grieving is to let go of that burden and put it to rest. In conflict situation, it is often critical to help the parties explore what letting go of conflict means, what accepting the resolution looks like. For this reason, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross' process of grieving, along with William Bridges' work around transitions, are used as the basis of this model. You will find this model also very simple and very applicable in your daily life. What are the major stages of coping with beloved? Coping with death. Death of yourself, for example, when you are at the end stage of cancer, or dying other people, or not. It is not about dying. It is about losing your beloved one. Even, it is very interesting. When you finish your PhD, your dissertation is approved. And they say, congratulations. Now you are Dr. Pyle. You are Dr. Luisa. You are Dr. Phoebe. It's over. You should be happy. After that, research says us, research fact says us that you will enter a grief process. Why? Because you have a habit of studying hard, studying hard, studying hard, and you don't know what can you do with your time. It's a new situation. You love working hard on your dissertation for your PhD. It is ended. It is a new window to your life. It is a new path to your life. But saying goodbye, even to your good previous life, enter you to your grief process. So it has 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Because depression is a clinical diagnosis, it was not useful in this model. Bargaining in Kubler-Ross model is arguably just a form of denial revisited. And in the moving behind model, bargaining is therefore wrapped into both the denial and anger. So for example, you go to doctor and doctor says about your mother that she has breast cancer. At first you say, no, 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 no. I think the doctor is wrong. It is the denial state. After some days, you will go to another doctor, new facts, new laboratory results. You say, no, your mother has breast cancer. You enter the anger. Why my mother? She is a good woman in all her life. Why he? Why she? You are anger. And after that, you enter the bargaining stage. You say, is there anything to do for my mother? It is not about the finding the ways. It is related to your doctor, not to you. You are bargaining that. Can we see other doctors? Maybe this diagnosis by this doctor is wrong. And after that, you say, my mother is dying and I don't have any good feeling. You are experiencing depression. And finally, you said, yes, my mother is dying, but she is still alive. I can experience her until the rest of the time we have to experience together. It is the acceptance. So DABDA, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, are the major 5 stages of expressing grief process. Complementary work by William Bridges looked at the process of change and transition and I knew 3 stages: an ending, followed by the period of confusion and distress, followed by a new beginning. It is something like the changing model. We have 3 stages for changing. 1, unfreezing. 2, creating change. 3, refreezing. If you want, very, very simply look at the change process in all the habits of your life. It's not important about, for example, your sleep habits, your eating habits, your occupational habits, your educational. All the changing has 3 stages. At first, unfreezing the last and previous habits, the habitual behaviors, the habitual models. Second part, creating a change. And third part, refreezing the new changes. And after that, you don't understand that the changes have been happened. Why? Because these are after the 3rd stage, these are not the changes. These are the new habits, the new lifestyle. So in Bridges' view, people can get stuck in either of the first 2 steps, which will prevent them from finding the new beginning and moving forward. For the purpose of the moving behind model, Kubler-Ross and Bridges' view of reaching closure and moving on overlap enough to fit into following 3 steps: denial, anger, and acceptance. The common parts are denial, anger, and acceptance. Sometimes we have bargaining and depression. Sometimes we don't have any bargaining or depression. But 3 major parts of denial: at first I didn't know. I think it is not true. Anger, after that, yes, I know it is true, but why for me? And the third part is yes, I know it is true and it is for me. Yes, my destiny, it's my the force in my life and other things. 1, denial. In many ways, is the process of refusing to accept that something has ended, that something has happened to change our life, whether we like it or not. We ignore the problems, we invent reasons why it has nothing to do with us, and we vehemently deny reality in a bid to hold on the status quo. Do you know anything about the hero's journey? Have you heard about it? Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell? Nothing?
We talked about it in marketing.
Yeah.
That's when it came up.
What do you know about it? Do you remember anything?
I think it was like if you want to advertise a product, you talk about this or present this person who has a problem, and then you give the product.
What was your marketing professor?
Forgot his name. It was a younger one.
Yeah.
I think he's
Dr.
doing a
Mu?
PhD.
Dr. Mu?
No,
Chinese?
no.
Oh, I don't know.
Forgot his name.
Please read about Hero's Journey. Hero's Journey is the story of all of us in all the stages of our life, all the stages. At first, it was based on the mythology, knowing about the myth of life by Joseph Campbell. And after that, we find the story and the journey, hero's journey, in all aspects of our life, especially in business. It's especially in business. Today's business is not about accounting. It's not about the money. It is not about the ordinary old-fashioned sales technique. Different techniques, different concepts. Because of that, you should know about hero's journey. You should know about how to use Jungian psychology in your job as a businessman or woman, as a manager, as a leader. Do you know Jordan Peterson? Is there anybody here to know about the Jordan Peterson? So one of my students previous semester became very angry against me that I said, what are you doing with your time? And he said to me, do you say that we don't have any literacy? I said, yes. I'm talking about your weak literacy about your business. Thank you for reading carefully your textbook, but it is not enough. Readers are leaders, don't forget it. And vice versa, leaders are readers. And second one is earners are learners. In the modern time, we are talking about 21st century. Luisa, are you originally American or not? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Germany.
Germany, yeah. Now I have representative from three major superpower in industry. India. Phoebe, are you Chinese or Korean?
I am Vietnamese.
Okay, so we call you Chinese from that part of the world, from the Oriental countries, India, Oriental countries, and Germany. When you are talking about Europe, you are not talking about Europe. You are talking about Germany, because the most powerful financial, industrial country, the Europe is Germany. In the 21st century, if you want to have a good attitude to your business, you should know something more than your ordinary books. It is not enough. Highly recommended to know about the Jordan Peterson approaches to business. He's psychologist, but have very, very deep, powerful approaches to business based on the Jungian psychology, based on the total atmosphere, on the work, and on the daily behaviors of your future customers. And please read about the hero's journey in different aspects of your life. After that, maybe, I'm not sure about it, certain about it, I'm not sure about it. After that, maybe you will be a little different businesswoman or management or leader. What is your basic interest? What do you want to do, Payal, in the future? Management, leadership, sales, what? What is your major interest?
I would say first management and then going up to leadership.
Perfect. And Phoebe? What's your major interest for the future, job future?
Job future, probably in food industry.
Industry. What work in industry?
It's really like
Industrial management, industrial leadership, industrial engineering, industrial accounting. What aspect of industry do you want to enter?
management.
Management. Okay. So Luisa, what about you? What's your major interest for the future?
So I know I definitely don't want to do sales. And
Perfect. You know what you don't want,
that's like,
but what you want.
so I've always been interested in supply chain and logistics. And with this master's, it's like a bit more difficult because there are not as many like options to focus on. But I think this will be one of my interests that I'm heading towards.
All the things you are talking about can be concluded in one phrase: change management. All the things that you are talking about can be summarized in one phrase: change management. In industry, in finance, in accounting, in the stock market, in everything. Change management. You should know how to manage the change. The first step for change management is that where are you just now? What is the starting point? Because of that, a conceptual framework, hero's journey, is not data. This is a conceptual framework. It's the framework to conceptualize the external world for you. It is conceptual framework. Hero's journey can be a very authoritative, validated conceptual framework for you to know where you are now, where do you want to go, where you can go, where you should go. 3 parts: about your desire, about your ability, about your forces. Where do you want to go, where you can go, where you should go. Many people have some different conflicts between the harmonization between these 3 elements: their desires, their mandatory forces, and their abilities, especially between the desire and abilities. Many people doesn't know what are their abilities, and based on abilities choose the desire. At first they know their desires, and after that they are frustrated that, sorry, I don't have any ability to reach my desire, to reach my goals. Because of that, for example, in hiring process, one of the first important steps is about matching process. It's very important to match the people with their abilities. Okay. The second stage is anger. Anger, confusion, and distress are all connected and all are natural reactions to dealing with situations we don't want and don't like. And stage 3, acceptance, fits well with the new beginning. Once we accept that we cannot simply stamp our feet and get everything we want, once we recognize that we need to find the best solution possible given our circumstances and move on, we begin to focus on a new beginning. A life after conflict is gone. Now you are at the 3rd stage. At least in California, the conflict is gone, started to be gone. If you consider, for example, COVID era as a conflictual situation, now it is gone. You should know where do you want to go and where you can go and where you should go. especially where you should go. It is not only relative to you, it is relative to other components of the market and the changing mindset of marketing or market making after COVID, in the COVID, after post-COVID era. It's very important to know the strategy about the future, not so far future, very new future, not too far future. We're talking about 1 year. For example, I have a question. If we talk about the industrial management, how do you think about the not too far future of industrial manager, for example, for after 2 years? Is there anything real serious changes in concepts of industrial management or not? That we can consider totally globally for all the countries, not related to the developing countries or developed countries, all the countries, they should consider these changes in industrial management. How do you think about the future of industrial management, not too far future, not too far future?
I think there will be a lot of changes because of the pandemic, and now they are lacking of the workers. So the management is probably changed for that reason. And then
Why? In what areas? What type of changes? You
first
will
of
be
all,
graduated after 1 or 2 years, and you are new as a graduated from MBA to the market. They ask you in interview, okay, well graduated. How do you think about the post-COVID industrial management changes or needs? It should be changed. Especially, for example, many people didn't like remote working at the beginning days, at the beginning month of COVID. Now we are going to the normal situation. Many people don't like to go physical to the work. They know that, okay, such a good position as remote working. You are at your home, very, very serious work, yes. But for example, the cost of fuel, the time of the going and coming back to home and everything is done, everything is off. You can manage the wasted time for your sport, for your family, for your sleep, everything. They don't want to go back to the physical presence in their organization. Other parts, some people say, no, when I don't have any physical presence in my organization, it's not a good with the ending and with the starting and stopping time. The time is so expanded and it captures all my day from the beginning, early morning until the night. No, I want to go to my organization in a very, very limited physical time, for example, 9 to 5, and after that I will be free. These are the new conflicts, especially in industrial parts, which is not needed to go to the factory, for example, for business parts. These are the matters. Not only think about it, you should read about it. You should read about it. I have a question from Luisa. Luisa, in this semester, we are at the week 8. How many articles have you studied? How many new articles have you studied? Apart from the articles we say to you as your faculty, how many articles have you studied? Any article in this semester, in the last 8 weeks, in extra to your assignments, or no?
Probably less than I should. And I think we talked about it also during the last class where you asked how many books we read. And I think you said something like you should read four books every month or so. And already back then, I was like, I have to read more books. And same with this one.
Yeah,
I should read more articles, even like outside of learning engagements and outside of the research paper, because like with the learning engagements and research paper, that's when you gather all the information. But yeah, it's also important to like study on your
What
own.
about you, Phoebe? Have you studied any extra article, scientific article on your field, for example, industrial management? in addition to the articles you should study for your assignments and learning engagements? Have you studied anything or not?
Mm, basically, I just read the article that that you or the faculty give it in the Moodle. I didn't read any like extra on Google except for the research paper.
Do you
Then
know how to find a do you know how to find a new research, or totally, do you know how to work with the databases or not?
only on Learn, then I know how to do it. But outside that, then
Do you know how to work with Learn
mhm,
and find the new articles?
mhm.
What about you, Payal? Have you studied any extra, any um, added article in addition to the articles we have given to you as our students or not?
So every night before I sleep, I always read like a fragment or stuff from any article. I doesn't have to be like with our class and stuff. So my background is political science and international affairs. So
Mhm.
I always read something like what's going on with the countries, or let's say like right now,
Perfect.
the last one I read, it was about El Salvador, that they are converting Bitcoin as a, so they can now, people can buy things with Bitcoin. So many South American countries are doing that.
Yeah.
So, things like that. So some interesting facts or things, and so those kind of articles I read.
Yeah. This is the major, this is one of the major differences between uh, up-to-date people in their job. I don't like to use the word job because job is the only thing for money. The job of job is gaining money. I love the word career. Career is the combination of your interest, your knowledge, your skills, and also money. You can do many jobs, but your career is very internal, very personalized aspect of job. Your interest, your knowledge, your science, your graduation, and also the money. Okay, you see also here in diagnosis between the denial, anger, and acceptance. And after that, something ending, confusion and distress, a new beginning. And moving behind More argues that in relation to conflict, these three steps are three broad stages that people pass through when resolving difficult issues, as shown in the figure. Denial in the field of conflict research typically relates to the party denying and or refusing to accept the problem, the situation, or their role and contribution to the conflict. It is not related to the management, business, or other things that you are interested in. But totally don't forget, denial is the most dangerous part of your personality. In love, in problems, in personality traits, when you deny some things, it is not a good sign. When you are using excuses, when you are suppress your feeling, when you are repressed your attitude, your feelings, you say, I don't like to be the same one with these approaches to life, for example. One of the greatest signs of denial is experiencing shame. When you are experiencing shame against yourself, when you are blaming yourself, you are denying something. Please don't forget, when you deny something, it shows that there is something important there, that you like it, but you don't uh, see yourself as a competent one to achieve that situation. It is about your mindset about yourself. It is not about your judgment, about your mindset. Mindset is something greater than your judgment. Judgment is the only one part of your mindset. It is very important if you want to be a successful, rich, and happy man or woman. It is very important to work on your mindset. Except of that, sometimes you are rich, but you are not happy. Sometimes you are happy, but you are not rich. Sometimes you are not rich and you are not happy. Many people are at this position. Every rich man or rich woman say to you that money cannot create happiness. Lack of money can create sadness, yes. Poor people, many poor people have some problems with their happiness. It is true. Research shows that there's a journal, international journal, so-called International Journal of Happiness Studies. It's an academic journal, International Journal of Happiness Studies. I don't know. I think I read it about 6 years ago, 5 years ago. The relationship between the income, increasing or decreasing income, and happiness. The research facts, the research results shows that poor people have many problems in creating happiness. It is true. After increasing money, increasing income, until a little level, happiness will increase again. After that, increasing money doesn't create any change in happiness. And after that, increasing money will destroy your happiness because you are the soldier of your money army. You are only the guardian of money. I know that in Germany, Luisa knows it better than me. In America, when you go in a street with a high-level car, everybody says, wow, such a, for example, Lamborghini she or he has. It is not like this in Germany. They say to you that, wow, in a socialist-based country, what is the source of this money? It is not good for you, prestige. It is not good for example, for old-fashioned people say that, what type of job he or she has to buy such a car? They don't say, good job. They say, okay, it should be not, for example, very legal or very job with a high rate of ownership. It is about your culture. It is about your nation. It is about your family. So please look at these topics in your life. You are educating for professional work as a businesswoman. If you don't know the deepest part of your job, you will be successful, but you will not be happy. And more important than happiness, you will not be satisfied. It is about the meaning of life. It is not about the money only. Money is a part of meaning of life. Every rich man or rich woman say to you, yes, money is a legal part of the meaning of life, especially when you enter the midlife between the 45 to 65, especially when you are successful, you see that, I need the meaning of life. Because of that, it is better for you when you are at the starting steps of your great jumping to the market, great jumping to the success. Think and read, think and read, think and read. Don't forget. Readers are leaders. Don't forget. Learners are earners. It is mashed together. This link well bridges idea of ending. A relationship has ended, a business deal has gone sour, a person is injured in a car accident, and their lifestyle is forever changed. A worker is fired. In these situations, refusal to accept the situation causes each party to engage in one or more of the following. 1. Denial of any significant contribution to or responsibility for a problem. 2. Denial of even being part to the conflict or problem. For example, I am not even sure why I am here. Acknowledging they did some small thing wrong, but asserting that the other party's wrongdoing dwarfs their own and makes it irrelevant. And other one, attributing all blame to the other party and ignoring or minimizing any actions or information that contradict that blame. And refusing to accept this problem will or should change their life in any way, shape, or form, and amplifying feelings of loss and attributing the cause solely to the other party, while denying or ignoring any information that contradict this, And finally, a complete and total inability to see the issues from the other party's POV to even a small degree. From a diagnostic point of view, a party is in denial whenever they are demonstrating some or all of these behaviors. I love this model because it talks very deeply about the models. Because of that, the author says that it is behind the model, behind the theory, behind the other models, combination of the deep parts of components. Okay, let's go to break just at 7 or a little before 7. 7 is good. Come here and start the final exam. Are you ready for final exam? I can see terror. I can see some panic signs. I cannot see also. I see just as usual, Luisa is very confident and also competent. She's our nerd student. She works hard, I know. And I see the light of intelligence in the face of Phoebe. And also, I see the calmness and confidence in the face of Payal. So my students are completely ready to pass a very, very hard final exam. I ask God to forgive me because of this exam. And I ask God to help you because of this exam. It's a joking, no problem. It's not very hard. It is heavy, but not very hard. It is very simple. For the two essay question, you can check there. One of them is, I think, from the final parts, in the ending parts, in the pay notes, in the ending of the chapters. Also, you can use it. And okay, just be here at 7. I will say you the password to enter the exam. After 15 minutes, we will see you again. The password is vaccine. All the letters are capital. VACCINE, vaccine. And all the letters are capital. Let me know when you enter the exam. Have you entered successfully, Luisa? Pio, Phoebe,
Says something
have you
about
entered?
hours. You have 3 hours to complete once you begin.
Let me check it.
And it says 8 essay questions, and I think you have said like 16 multiple choice.
Let me check the exam. Your exam has you should have 2 essay questions. I added 2, yeah. It is 16. 16.
So we can
Multiple-
just start and just have 1 hour, right?
Number 1 and number 2 is essay questions with 20 points for each of them. And number 3 to number 18 are multiple choice question. Is it correct?
Okay, then I'll start because in the beginning it says you have 3 hours, but I think it's just 1, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Hours and 3 attempts.
Okay.
No, actually, only 1 attempt and 1 hour for me.
So 1 attempt. Have you entered or not?
I did. I am working on it right now.
Okay. Elpile, have you entered?
For the landing engagement of this week, I emailed you, but
No, what about the final exam? Not about the
Yeah.
I will check the learning engagement. I will put it
Oh,
there right there. I know it's
I'm
no
starting
problem.
now.
and one more thing.
Have you entered final exam?
Yeah, one more
Okay,
thing.
start it.
I need the
Start it.
presentation.
Start it. You have only 1 hour. Start it. Is there any problem or not?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you for the class.
Is it over?
For me, it is.
Perfect. I
And
wish to visit
have you looked
again
into the
in the
learning
future
engagement?
courses. What's up?
Have you looked into the learning engagement?
Yes, I completed. It's fresh. Yeah. I wish to visit you again in the future courses. If it was possible, I will be happy. If it was not possible, I wish you to visit you in the international stages of business management and leadership. All of you are very great. Have a
Thank
good night. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good
Dr. Ash, what about the presentation thing? Do we have to make like
You should send me a 5 minutes video on your final paper. Send me by email, or you can upload it in the Moodle also.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
It's very easy. It's very easy. No.
It can't be uploaded, so the MP4 file can't be uploaded. I think you have to open it.
There's a location in the Moodle for upload your MP4.
Yeah, but I think you have to allow it.
You cannot upload it.
I couldn't upload it, so I had to send a link. But I think you are able to like open it.
Yeah, it's not important. If you want, you can upload it in the, for example, YouTube, and send it the link in your YouTube. No problem for me. But it should be by PowerPoint, not only lecture. 5 minutes of PowerPoint. Okay.
Oh, the description said 10 minutes, but I mean.
At least 5 minutes. At least 5 minutes. There is no upper limitation. The down limitation is 5 minutes. If you want to presentation for 1 hour, why not? And also, Payal, send me your presentation, your PowerPoint about the crowdfunding to me. I'm waiting.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.